Fanfiction is women's art. Deal with it. In 2018, an academic study from the Department of Sociology of Queen College about gender discrimination and inequality in indie and traditional publishing revealed that books written by women are priced lower than books written by men. Novelist Joanne Harris responded on behalf of the women's writers around the world, I quote, "In an industry where women's work is generally seen as of less value and relevance, for it to be legally priced lower seems to make a twisted kind of sense," unquote. Overall, books that are identified as having a female name author cost 45% less on average than male named. The study also notes a discursive connection to labor market research, showing that the more female an occupation, the lower the pay and prestige. The study sampled 2 million books, including self-published ebooks. It did not include fanfiction, which is rather posted on online platforms. And if it had been included, the conclusion showing a genre's value decreasing in relationship to its femaleness would have been even more absurd. A fanfiction or fanfic is when someone writes a story based on someone else's story or based on an existing event or person in real life while still leaving the source recognizable in their own work. As said, fanfiction is a digital genre of great popularity. On Archive of Your Own, also known as AO3, the most popular platform for English language fanfiction, there are more than 6 million works sorted according to fandoms. Fandom is a term describing communities built around a shared enjoyment of an aspect of popular culture, meaning TV shows, movies, books, bands, video games, or comics, including mythologies, legends, and other universes. Those are from which the fanfics draw characters or settings. The extent to which the fanfics leans on the original work varies a lot, from the total rewriting of a TV show's ending to only taking inspiration from the plot and universe. It is commonly known in the creative industry that fan works support economically and artistically the content beyond their original media forms, a principle called transmedia. Online platforms like AO3 are digital fan-run, collective, anonymized, and non-profit places where people can gather and create on the basis of common goals and tastes without direct institutional validation and outside copyright laws. To this regard, fanfics and fandoms are rather independent media from minorities sharing common cultural practices. In sociology, anthropology, and cultural studies, it is called a subculture, a group of people with a culture that marks its difference from the larger culture to which they belong. As subculture exists because of the main existence of a dominant and elitist one, like any kind of power relationship ever, there is a part of belittlement. Fanfiction is mostly criticized because of its connection to source material. It is derivative, unimaginative, and unworthy. Science fiction author Robin Hobb stated that fanfiction is to writing what a cake mix is to gourmet cooking. Even fans not engaged in fanfiction make fun of fanfiction writers for being delusional, questioning the realism of fan works. Now, what does it have to do with women in literature? Well, many studies about fan communities on the internet found that fanfics are primarily written and read by women of all ages. Therefore, fanfiction has its own detractors and sexist stereotypes. For example, since a lot of fanfiction is explicitly erotic, the genre is seen as women's guilty pleasure, like secret gardens of sexual fantasies, and it became the target of parodies. As a result, fanfiction faces the same criticism as many genres where women predominate, from romance novels to young adult literature. Discussing the legitimacy and worth of fanfics, women's unpaid work contributing to the larger media industry but perceived of little value and relevance, appears to be concealed gender judgment. In fact, It seems the problem is not really the quality nor the originality of the stories, but the fact that in general, literature is judged regarding merits, while fanfiction is dismissed as a genre. Reducing it as an original while also praising the innovation and creativity of works inspired by Greek mythology, real-world wars, or historical figures, we are constantly replicating the same evaluative discrimination that unfairly allows publishers to price female writers' books lower than men. They perceive, as a category, that women's creative labor is worth less. Historically, the domestic and unpaid writing done by women is perceived as less prestigious than the masculinized and legitimized world of literature. We have been encouraged to do so thanks to years of male glance at work, the act of depicting women and the world in art from a masculine and heteronormative perspective that represents women as sexual objects for the pleasure of male viewers. Media critic Lily Loughborough underlines its effect on society, perceiving female-centric stories as trivial. However, no matter what said society may think fanfiction is art, you will experience stylistic and narrative prowess showing how fanfiction can lead to more creativity, not less. Fanfiction is also an amazing work that balances between the seen and the unseen. Because yes, most fanfics are about love, the most universal theme ever that has been federating people for centuries, but it also contains things that are hard to find in media. In fact, only women can inject in mainstream content people of different gender, races and religion, disabled people, queers and so much more. Our dear friend, male gaze, usually shows this kind of diversity, but it's often just one stereotype after another. Fanfic actually responds to the representation matter in a lacking media industry that shapes the norms, the expected and the conventional. Because they take over control, women are attacked for creating a media they love without shame, reversing at the same time the what is a respectable lady thing logic. Now, women are doing this essential work of profound effects for themselves and others, with no public recognition and no financial gain. Perhaps, and as it has been suggested by American scholar Camille Bacon-Smith, the latter is the reason why men don't write fanfiction. Women, on the other hand, who traditionally earn less than men, have different motivations to their art, far from values of necessarily profitable activities.